A Dead Space Remake review roundup is needed at this point because I'm getting tons of heat. I put out shorts, I put out my own criticisms and said the gameplay never really looked next gen since it is a $70 next gen remake. So what I want to do was go through every single review, well, not every single review, the reviews, scores, as well as what people are saying about the game, and really ask the question, was I wrong about the Dead Space remake? Let's look at what people are saying. Let's grab choice quotes. Also, let's discuss maybe the price point hypocrisy, since people gave a whole lot of grief to The Last of Us remake whenever it came out. Last of Us Part 1 remake was $70, and a lot of people said that's absolutely ridiculous to charge that level of money for a remake. So I'm going to break down all of that right here at the beginning of the video, so that way you don't have to go looking for it. This is a live stream, so if you're watching the past broadcast, that's why the video is so long. So I'm going to include things from IGN, from PC Gaming, from SkillUp, from ACG. I'm going to try to give you the full picture here and, whether or not you should buy this remake. So I just want to give a recap, though, of what I said, since so many people torched me and got out the pitchforks, because I have a couple of shorts out there where I said I don't think it looks next gen, I think it looks plastic, or I think some of the animations look clunky. I stand by those observations. I never said the game was going to be trash. I never said the game was going to be horrible. I said it doesn't look like a $70 next-gen remake. It looks like a very good remaster. I consistently said if you compare this game to the original, it looks good, but it doesn't look like a $70 next-gen title. Kind of like when you get accustomed to 60 FPS, suddenly getting 30 FPS is really hard to take. It's like jarring, and I thought there were elements within the gameplay, there were elements within texture use and animations that just didn't look quite that great. And admittedly, if you compare it to the original, it is actually quite stunning. I never had any issue with that. So that was what I said. If you go watch my shorts, I've not taken any of my videos down. Everybody got the pitchforks out because apparently they decided that this game was amazing even before it came out. They just couldn't take the fact that maybe somebody had a different opinion than them. So let's look at some of the scores. Now that I've sort of let people know, go watch all of my content. That's what I said consistently, was that it looks good, but it doesn't look like a $70 next-gen game. All right. Vg247 gave it a 5 out of 5. So did Gaming Bolt. And then everybody else gave it around a 4 out of 5. There's other varying scores. Like there's people giving it 9s and 10s. IGN, Game Informer, Game Rant, PSU, WCC, FTech, The Gamer, and VGC all gave it anywhere from a 4 to a 4.5 out of 5. Very, very consistent, strong scores. 89 from the critics on Metacritic. And I wanted to look at PC Magazine first. So, PC Magazine broke down the pros and the cons. They said excellent visuals, good PC performance, terrific gameplay and weapons overhaul, new side missions, add replay value. Then the cons were characters have unexpressive faces, and it leans more into jump scares than legit horror. I don't know how much you can use that against Dead Space. I don't know if that's a fair criticism that it's the original game. The original game had lots of jump scares, right? So I do want to point out that all the reviews I looked at, all the reviews I read, gave generic statements about the visuals. They said, oh, it looks good, or it looks excellent, but they didn't break down why. They didn't get into the details. If you look at all the breakdowns of The Last of Us Part 1, it was highly detailed what exactly you were getting, what exactly you could expect in all of the upgrades that they did, and that's getting a little bit glossed over here. Now, I don't think that's because reviewers are being dishonest. I just think to them it looks good, and that's all that matters. They're checking that box and sort of moving on. And if, again, you compare this to the original Dead Space, it looks phenomenal by comparison, because you're comparing it to a game that came out in 2008. And I do think that's one of the reasons why people are just saying, oh yeah, it looks amazing. If you compare it to other next-gen games that are out right now, especially $70 next-gen games, I feel that's when you start to notice some of the differences, some of the lower textures, and especially the character models in their faces. So I am glad that PC Gamer mentioned this. They had this to say: Isaac's round face and expressive eyes have been replaced with a realistic model that closely resembles his voice actor Gunnar Wright. but his character model doesn't emote in a way that matches his voice. It's fairly wooden and nonplussed. And if you have other games like this where there's people's faces, he was just on the comms with somebody. If you go to other games like this where they're showing people's faces and their emotions are important, I do think everything we've seen so far is one of the reasons why I continue to say it just doesn't look like a next-gen game. It looks a little dated. That's not me saying the game is trash. It's just for $70, I'm looking for that excellence in every category. Now, I know the gaming industry is moving to $70, so that doesn't mean that we can always say, oh, but $70, it better be amazing. But part of the justification for a remake is the graphics. Like, it's got to be at the top shelf if you're going to say, oh, hey, this is on par with next-gen games that are out right now at $70. So that's why I was continuing to say that. The lighting alone, I think, is one of the reasons many people are looking at this game and saying, it's breathtaking. It's phenomenal, right? Because it really, really does nail the lighting. I've said that since the beginning. I think that's actually one of the shining centerpieces of the Dead Space remake. Now, PC Gamer said that the guns and the fighting are fun, but they said you can get surprisingly creative with the weapons. As a result, Dead Space feels less like a horror game and more like an action game with really gross enemies. So I do think that's just something to keep in mind. This is one of the scenes where I tried to point out to people the fog animations from the ceiling are very flat. They're very weird and almost shaky. The water animations are also kind of weird and a little shaky. I'm not showing any of the gore because that'll get you like age restricted or whatever. So we're not going to show any of the gore. But the water animations and the fog animations in that scene were one of the things that I tried to draw attention to. I'm like, that just doesn't look very good. We've played plenty of games now with really good fog effects and water effects, and that is just one sequence where it just was almost jarring how bad some of those effects looked. Again, I'm looking for next-gen performance. I don't think that's an unfair expectation. Now, PC Gamer also said that the gameplay changes are for the better. Dead Space is still a blast, and the gameplay changes are for the better. The combination of tools, unique weapons, and alternative firing modes keeps the game fresh and engaging. Everything feels viable, with especially the new Game Plus features that they added. So they added new stuff. This is a great little sequence there, again, to compare it to the original. 2008 was a long time ago. So PC Magazine's conclusion. Oh, this was PC Magazine. I'm sorry, PC Gamer. PC Gamer's conclusion. If you're new to the series and you like action and jump scares, you'll find Dead Space an absolutely worthy purchase. It's an excellent dismemberment mechanic game. It's got degrees of creativity. In addition, the remake has just enough freshness to attract franchise fans who are curious about the graphical and gameplay changes. Dead Space has recovered from the last two mainline titles' missteps and lays the foundation for a bright future. So they think that this is a great sort of almost like reboot or restart for the franchise. Now, I don't think that means necessarily they're going to go back and like remake, Dead Space 2 and 3, but that's where PC Gamer landed. Now, let's look at IGN. I'm not going to read as much now. I wanted to kind of give you the full scope of what one person thought. Now I'm going to give you like slices of what people thought. IGN gave it a 9, and they previously gave the original game an 8.7. So they are actually bumping the score up from the original. This was something that people said about The Last of Us Part 1 remake. It wasn't outscoring the original according to the users or whatever, but there's so much hypocrisy around that. I don't even want to get into it, but I'm going to get into it in a minute. We'll talk about that in a moment. Anyways, IGN says, Dead Space is a superb remake and undoubtedly the definitive way to experience one of the best survival horror shooters that Capcom never made. So they're giving it a high recommendation. Skill Up didn't get to put together his review. He's been dealing with some sickness. He says he highly praises it. He says, long story short, this absolutely rules. It's one of the best remakes ever, and I strongly recommend it. Here again is some good comparison as to just how good the game does look in comparison to the original game. ACG recommends the game, quote, it's highly worth getting. It's an enjoyable title. It definitely had no bugs that I ran into. It performed exactly as I expected and still got the atmosphere in a Dead Space game that a lot of people love. So everybody's recommending the game, okay? Does that mean I'm wrong about some of the things I said? Well, before we get to that, let's talk about price, because that's so related to everything that I said. The Last of Us Part 1 remake got a lot of grief over the price, and I only changed my mind about it once I played it. I kind of agreed with everybody. I was like, $70, really? It's a remake. Like, what's going on? Why would you charge that much for a remake? And so, I said, I don't know. And then I played it, okay? Then I played it. Oh, Skill Up did get his review up. Okay, so he finally got his review up. So make sure and check that out. He had to his went up a little bit late because he had some things going on. So show him some love. Skill Up's reviews are always worth watching. And I generally typically find myself agreeing with Skill Up. So the fact that he is giving it such a strong recommendation, I think, speaks volumes. It's like, oh, wow, this guy's really, really praising it. So the price, though, I do think is an issue that nobody's really bringing up, which I find incredibly surprising. That was the one thing that kept coming up in the Last of Us Part 1 remake, reviews. People are like, oh, it's amazing, it's gorgeous, it's fantastic. But the price point, people were absolutely shredding it for the price point. So I actually feel that The Last of Us Part 1 looked and felt next gen. Like, it really did. Like, they redid all the characters, they redid all the environments. Like, it looked and felt phenomenal, and that's what justified the price point for me. I was against the $70 price point in The Last of Us Part 1 until I played it, all right? Now, one of the reasons I think people are treating this game differently is it's older. And it didn't have a remaster, right? It's an older game with no remaster. So The Last of Us Part 1, I think, was facing a unique challenge. It's more close at hand. It came out in 2013, 10 years ago, and it had a remaster, which made people say, what on earth? How many times are you going to retread this ground? Or are we doing the Skyrim thing? How many times are you going to do something with The Last of Us, right? I think the remake was justified because they wanted to bring it up to the graphical parity of games on the PlayStation ecosystem now, and there's so much they can do with what characters look like and emotion capture and all of that. I also think that people are looking at the differences, and that chasm of difference is causing them to say, oh, this is way better, this is worth more, right? If you think about it, a game in 2008 suddenly landing in 2023, it's just unbelievable, the differences, right? It's going to look amazing. A game that landed in 2013, had a remaster, and then had a remake, it's not going to feel as stark. I don't think people are going to be as shocked at those graphical updates. So, I would argue both of these games are worthy of remakes. They're both worthy of remakes. If you held The Last of Us Part 1 to a certain standard because it was $70, then you should do the exact same thing with the Dead Space remake, which is what I am doing. I am being consistent. This is largely, I think, underneath all of my issues with the gameplay that I have seen so far. The Last of Us Part 1, I think, far exceeds the Dead Space remake in graphical upgrade. The characters look better. The environments have way more love poured into them. The animations feel like something that you're going to get from a game that you buy right now, okay? The remaster being close at hand, I think The Last of Us Part 1 gets less credit than it deserves because of the work that was poured into it. And I'm not even a huge Last of Us fan. Like, I'm just talking about the graphics. I am not a huge Last of Us fan. I played the game. I borrowed a PlayStation at the time and played the game for the first time whenever it first came out because everybody was talking about how good it was. But the minute you compare the Dead Space remake to other $70 next-gen only titles, I think that's when you start to see the graphical lack in quality. You start to see some of the animations. So, was I wrong? That's the question on the thumbnail. Was I wrong? Well, I still need to play it for myself. And I'm going to. I'm going to play this game on my stream today. It'll be my third live show. I'm actually going to do a third live show for you so that I can play this game and check it out. However, this level of consensus should give people confidence in buying this game. It's a quality game. It's good. You're not going to have this level of consensus from review outlets and from people like SkillUp, who he can be critical. I think he's trustworthy. I think his reviews are quite good. I think people give him a raw deal because of, what did he have, like one review that ended up not being on target? So I would say there's a consensus here that you can buy this game with confidence, okay? None of that takes away from my observations. I'm not being stubborn here. I readily admit when I'm wrong. I don't think the consensus of the reviews takes away from my observations. It doesn't make my observations about these animations in this scene, or the rain, or the fog, or any of the low texture things that you can see in the game. I think those observations are still fair. I still think those things don't look that great when I'm comparing it to other $70 next-gen games, okay? This also doesn't solve the $70 remake debate. Just because you have an amazing consensus and a ton of people praising the Dead Space remake doesn't suddenly mean that that is a settled deal. The $70 remake debate is still one that I think is worth having. Should they be charging $70 for remakes? I think nostalgia is driving a lot of the love here, and that's fine. That's totally fine for nostalgia to be driving some of the love here. Arguably, Callisto Protocol was a very bad game. I ripped that thing to shreds, but graphically it was superior. The environments, the lighting, the character design all looked phenomenal. They looked like real people, and you're not getting that in the Dead Space remake, which I think is kind of important when you're putting people's faces on screens. They're supposed to be scared. There's supposed to be this gripping narrative of fear, right? If consumers are satisfied with their purchase and they feel they got their money's worth, then the market has spoken. In my opinion, kind of doesn't matter at that point. If I'm going to sit here and say, looks clunky, I see low-res textures, if the market says, shut up, bro, we love this thing, man, it's selling great, it's getting high review scores, then great. My opinion's not intended to sway market behavior. My opinion's not intended to sway people's opinions of the game. I was merely making observations based on gameplay as it came out. I still think all future $70 remakes should strive to have graphical parity with other $70 next-gen only titles. I think that is a fair expectation. You're going to remake a game, and you're going to charge me $70 for it. I want it to look as good as the other $70 next-gen games I'm playing. I don't think I'm being unfair. I'm not being a video game Karen. I don't think I'm being entitled or unreasonable. So much of the hate that I got on my short videos about this game was misguided because I think there are two discussions that we can have. Number one, is it a good remake? Number two, are the graphics at a $70 next-gen only quality? Those questions are not necessarily directly connected. You can say, yep, you can answer the first question. It's a great remake. The consensus from the reviews make that undeniable. It's a great remake. It should be purchased by people who were looking forward to it, or even people who were on the fence. I don't think you're going to be dissatisfied with your purchase. I really don't. But the second question about the graphics doesn't necessarily take away from whether or not it's a good remake, if that makes sense. They're separate categories. You can judge a game's graphical fidelity and come to the conclusion that it falls short, but still say it's a good remake. I don't think they're mutually exclusive, okay? Here are my final thoughts. Number one, remakes will always create very passionate debates because fandom splits in a dichotomous way. There are people who are sold on the game right away because they love it so much, right? Oh, it's going to be good. They're almost worshiping it. And then there's people that are like, this is a cash grab, okay? Fandom tends to split on remakes in this way. So I think remakes will continue to spawn these types of passionate debates. And I definitely got caught in the crossfire because I put out a short saying one of the necromorphs looked plastic. Thank you so much for a pancake over on the Tickety Talk. I got interrupted in my show open with a pancake. What a world. I do think that that's why I got so much hate. I got caught in a crossfire because there were people that were like, this game's going to be amazing. We've been waiting for this game. They looked at side-by-side images and they thought I was talking out of my rear end. And I was like, it looks plastic. It looks low res. It looks low texture. Okay? The second thing, remakes will likely continue. We're going to see more remakes given the huge jump that we're seeing in these notable remakes. The graphical jump is huge. You got the Demon's Souls remake, The Last of Us Part 1, and now Dead Space. You got sort of a trifecta here of, hey man, remakes can look really good, and they can be praised, win awards, and do commercially very well. So that means gamers should be demanding quality rather than committing allegiance from a trailer. Okay, there were people that were coming from my head because I made an observation about graphics. The anti-remake crowd, this is another thought that I have, the anti-remake crowd, the people who are just sort of instinctively against remakes, I think they're going to become less relevant as another remake has come and it's being well received and highly praised. This both sets the bar for future remakes, but it also quiets the naysayers about remakes. I have been in full support of remakes. I think they're great when done well. I actually think, funny enough, as much hate as I've gotten about this is going to go down in history as a great remake, right? Everybody's telling me my short aged like milk because it's getting such good reception. That's actually a win for gamers. You know what I'm saying? You can give me grief all you want in comments. I'm happy that we have another successful remake because I think remakes are good. I think there are so many great games that I would love to play at modern day graphic fidelity, especially the Dead Space remake because I never got to play the first Dead Space, okay? That's related to my final point. My excitement about playing is still very much in the middle of the road. I've always heard that this is a must play because, I missed out on the first one. I played Dead Space 3 with my buddy because we were looking for a co-op game. The reviews give me hope, but I do feel like this is very analogous to the 60 FPS versus 30 FPS discussion that happens all of the time right now. Once you've experienced really high fidelity graphics, really amazing looking characters, it's kind of hard to go back. You may have noticed this with the way that people, I think, have been overly critical of the character and model designs in the Starfield trailers or in the Hogwarts Legacy trailers. Compare those faces and those models to the faces in the Dead Space remake. The Starfield faces look significantly better, and so does Hogwarts Legacy. However, the reason that those games are being criticized for their facial and model design is because people have played games like Red Dead Redemption 2 and The Last of Us Part 1 remake or The Last of Us Part 2 where everybody looks real, right? And that is making people sort of turn around and expect every game to be at that fidelity. That is a bias that I'm willing to own. My bias is being shaped by what I've experienced. I can't play 30 FPS games, and I'm going to struggle to play games that don't really look next gen, especially when you're asking for $70. Much of my criticism would have never even happened if this thing was $60, because I would have said, hey, nice $60 remake. It's got the graphical parity of other games that are out right now in that price range. But $70, that's a top shelf. And if you're going to put yourself on the top shelf, expect top shelf scrutiny. That's my show open. That is my 22-minute show open. We had some buffering and some frame dropping in the beginning of the show, so I am sorry about that. Thank you so much for everybody watching over on the Tickety Talk with almost 2,000 likes. What are your thoughts toward the I've not watched the show, but I think the show is doing incredibly well. Let's set our sights on 200 likes over here on YouTube. You guys are crushing it with the viewership right now. Almost 600 people are here. Listen, I am open to debate if you can be polite and kind, okay? Let's turn on the member goal, and let's turn on alerts, and let's get my coffee in the frame. Let me just quickly run down all the ways you can support the stream before we get into the debate. I'm wearing a Batman shirt. Check it out. It's awesome. It's huge. This comes from the Batman collection over at 80s Tees. Use my code. You can use code Lono and get 30% off over there. So be sure to use code Lono over there at 80s Tees. I'm wearing a pair of blue light blocking glasses from Gamer Advantage. You can also use code Lono at gameradvantage.com. And then we sell the coffee. Don't forget about memberships, man. Memberships have obviously slipped quite a bit. They've dropped down. So consider jumping in as a member or gifting members as well. Okay. So I'm open to debate. That's my debate point, though, is that, listen, you walked out into a landscape of $70 next-gen games, and you said our next-gen remake is also $70. And that's where my criticism came from. I looked at it through that lens from that point on. I was like, oh, $70 next-gen only game, let's go. I missed out on this game, baby. This game's going to be hot. And then I started watching the trailers, and I was like, it kind of looks not like next-gen. And I wasn't mean. Like, exactly what is being said in chat. Let me read this. I watched your short, says McD09. I never heard you say it was going to be a bad game. You only mentioned the price. That's exactly right. Thank you so much, Swade, with 10 months at a Member Plus. Keep crushing it, man. Can't wait for Brono to visit. He is in town. By the way, I said this above. Okay. It says here, I was keeping tabs on Dead Space Remake Steam charts. Before the reviews, it was 20-ish or so. After the reviews started coming out, it jumped to here. It's now the #1 purchase game on Steam because of the reviews. Yes. Yeah, the reviews are putting this thing on a rocket right now. It's doing very, very well. I just want you to enjoy an amazing horror game for the first time, says Sven. Well, what do you think of what they said, Sven, that it's more of an action game than a horror game? Eugene says something was always off from the reveal. What's this guy saying? Is there so many big projects? Yeah, why are people just coming and spamming things about Sony? This could boil down to had you played The Last of Us and not the OG Dead Space, like missing the nostalgia link? No, objectively speaking, Paul, if you side by side The Last of Us Part 1 remake footage and you put Dead Space footage up, The Last of Us Part 1 did way more. Like, just look at the facial animations and the character design alone. Even PC Gamer and all their praise said, yeah, the faces look kind of wooden. You know what I mean? They don't look that great. No. You can't do screenshots, Paul. Because sure, when you put him in a corridor with nothing but metal and lights, it looks amazing. It does. But the minute you look at the characters, look at that guy in that scene. There's a bald guy that dies in one of the opening scenes. He looks terrible. He looks arguably terrible. His skin has no texture. He looks like something from an old game. Again, I'm not hating. I'm saying, come on, bro. Character design-wise, they did not. There were just certain things that just didn't look up to snuff. The character movement and animation, the way the characters move is awkward and clunky. Make no mistake, Dead Space is survival horror, says Josh Allen. It fits every criteria from creepy atmosphere, jump scares, and limited resources. Yes, it has action, but it's horror at its core. Yeah, I've never played it, so I wasn't sure where PC Gamer was coming from. Capri Sun, yes, we've not been on that brand for years. If you want to come back and watch and hang out, great. If you're going to be, nasty and try and drum up, nonsense, then no. I don't know, after watching G-Man's visuals breakdown, I really appreciated it more, says Wheezy. This guy, G-Man Lives, put out a video called The Dead Space Remake is really good. How long is that video, Wheeze? Because I would be happy to watch somebody's video, because that was one thing that I found very lacking in all of the reviews. Nobody did a breakdown of the graphics. They just said it looked good. And I'm like, you can't just say it looked good. It's a $70 next-gen only remake. Like, that should be one of the centerpieces of your review. Just showing at the 10-minute mark. Oh, yeah, I can't pull it up now. I get buffering if I open up clips and videos while I'm streaming now. I don't like doing it. Yong Ya said it was a great remake as well. Okay, here's the thing. I have 100% conceded that it's a good remake. That is not my debate point. That's not my debate point. It being a good remake was never my question. It was never a matter of, oh, is it going to be enjoyable? Is it going to be worth buying? It was, it's $70 and it's next gen only. I'm seeing elements of it that aren't at that level. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I just got here. No, you're good, ETP. You're good. I'm just reiterating it. Aren't you looking at him through glass? What would that have to do with anything? When you look at somebody through glass, do they suddenly become featureless and smooth? Like, yo, what's good, Feed? I see you in the chat. For 10 to 14. Oh, from 10 to 14 minutes, he does a graphical breakdown. Okay. I haven't played it yet, but here's my thoughts, says Detective Seeds. I cannot go into a store and visually see a remake next to brand new God of War, Ragnarok, or Elden Ring and be okay with paying $70. Just me as a consumer. See, you're getting at the point, right? You're getting at the point. It's like you're putting this game next to other $70 games. So when I play it, I better be like, oh yeah. Oh yeah. This thing is... Because I was against the $70 price point on The Last of Us Part 1. Go back and watch my coverage. I was against it. I defended it and said, this is a remake, because people were calling it a remaster. I said, this is a remake. I said, but I'm not okay with the $70 price point. And then I played it, and I changed my mind. Here, let's get Gamer Advantage in the shot again. Let's do this. There we go. Flip that around. Oh. There we go. I'm a professional, I promise. Let's get the markers out of the shot. Come on, let's make things look nice. Let's make things look nice here. Come on, people. So play Dead Space. I'm going to today, P. Dudley. Come on, man. You know what we do here. I open the day with a talk show, not dadgum gameplay. With all the updates from the original 100%, it feels like a modern horror game. Okay. Let me make a caveat here. You're slacking. I can't even install the game for the next hour, by the way. Like, I can't even play it yet. This guy says, has anybody noticed that EA has been quietly releasing good to great games over the past few years? They recovered from the microtransaction era and have been publishing mostly great stuff. It's kind of true. It's kind of true. All right, let me give myself a caveat here. Right? They added so much to this game. I think somebody could push back on my argumentation and they could say, hey man, I'll concede there's elements to the graphics that are a little bit lacking. However, Lono, they added so much, it makes up for it. There's new game plus, there's new features. They added more to the game. I wonder if somebody could make a convincing argument, a compelling argument to convince me it's okay that some of the graphics fall a little bit below. Yo, Danzatastic says, let's get this started. He gifts 5 memberships. Digi Ross, Zaxbox, Ecow the Great, Liz, good to see you, Liz. Good to see you, Stephanie. They all got gifted members. If this member goal in the corner hits 25, I have to gift 5 members. Every 25 members, I give 5 to say thank you for being here. I got a review copy. Mind if I hop in and chat with you about it? I don't do that, homie. I'm on YouTube right now in front of 600 some odd people. I wouldn't be able to hear you because of my mic setup. I can't do that. Not in a position to do that. That's not really what I do with my content anyway. Kind of a one-man show, except for my second show today. My brother will be here, and 30 and So Gaming will be here, and we're going to be talking about Xbox in 2023. Have they had a strong start, or is it just a lot of talk? It'll be good. It'll be good. My argument is simple, says Wheezy. I'd play a game that looks like Dead Space Remake and is a great game, and then play Callisto Protocol that's visually amazing and completely bereft. I hate that that's logically sound. What's irritating, Wheeze? All right, let's imagine something, Wheeze. Let's imagine something. Thought experiment, okay? What if Callisto Protocol was amazing? Right? What if Callisto Protocol was a 9 out of 10 game? Would we still be sitting here saying this, or would we say, bro, Callisto Protocol is not only graphically superior, it's also an amazing game? Like, do you see what I'm saying? The only reason you can say that is because Callisto fell on its face and was trash. It wasn't a good game. But it's not? Okay, but no. You're missing the point. The thought experiment is simple. You can't give Dead Space Remake a pass because Callisto was bad. Do you see what I'm saying? If Callisto would have been a good game, would we suddenly be saying... Think about what you're saying. If that's true, then the inverse is true. if we're going to give Dead Space a pass because Callisto was bad, that means if Callisto was great, then Dead Space would be bad? Narcissistic argument? Look up narcissistic before you throw it around. That doesn't even apply to what we're talking about. Sounds like you're trying to use a trigger word. Dead Space was never about graphics. It's about atmosphere, gameplay, and tension. I believe you focus completely too much on graphics and not gameplay. Gameplay is king. Okay, hang on a second, Black Brad Pitt. Black Brad Pitt. Oh my gosh. That would make the movie Meet Joe Black a very different movie. Hey-o. Listen. Gameplay was another thing I talked about. I thought some of the animations were kind of clunky. You're changing reality to make an argument? No, I'm not. I'm not changing reality to make an argument. I'm showing the inverse. You know, in argumentation, like, antitheticals are super important. The inverse is important. So if you say, oh, Dead Space is great, and part of your argumentation is, well, Callisto was graphically awesome, but it was a bad game. Okay, well, imagine if Callisto was a good game. Would that suddenly lower Dead Space's quality? Are you putting Dead Space's quality on a contingent continuum of relation to another game? That doesn't even make any sense. That's not how we judge a game's quality. Do you see what I'm saying? That's not my argument. You accused me of making a narcissistic argument and changing reality for my argument. You misunderstood my point, so I'm restating it and trying to help you out. That's not what I was saying. Horizon Forbidden West is pretty much better visually than Elden Ring, says Wheezy, but I think Elden Ring's art direction is better and is more visually appealing. I can live with the game not being the best looking. Both art direction, ambience, and set pieces make it have a better atmosphere and feel. Okay. That's actually well stated. Elden Ring wasn't $70. Elden Ring wasn't $70. If Elden Ring was $70, I think we would be talking differently about its graphical fidelity. If Elden Ring was $70, you wouldn't be defending its graphics. You'd be saying, this doesn't look like a $70 next-gen game. You'd be like, it looks like a previous gen game. Like what Eugene is saying, premium price demands a premium product. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Everything is 70 now? No, that's not true. Not everybody's doing 70 yet. You never played the original. If they changed the movement, then they would have ruined the gameplay. You're going to hate the RE4 remake if you think the movement is off. See, now you're misunderstanding. I didn't say they should change the movement. You're putting words in my mouth. I said the animations looked clunky. They lacked frames. We compared the original Dead Space 1 to the Dead Space remake, and we looked at animations of the enemies. We looked at the physics of their bodies when they went flying back. We looked at the turning animations of the main character. We looked at the pivoting animations when he was in low grav. I never once said, oh, they should change the movement. I said the animation seemed kind of clunky. It doesn't look. There's a lack of fluidity. If I again, keep in mind what I'm saying. I'm coming from $70 next-gen top-shelf games, and I'm coming to this game, and I'm like, the animation seems kind of clunky. Well, why is there a low-res texture? Why does that animation look like that? I'm seeing things that I don't see in $70 games. Somebody said I'm getting hung up on the price. Hang on, I want to see what they said. Lono, you're so hung up on the price point, it's the new standard and will be universal very soon. Okay, let me take your position then, Naps. Let's say it's the new price point. $70, new price point. Y'all know I've defended that, right? I've said $70 is fine because of inflation, and video games have largely not been touched by inflation for over 20 years, and the scope of the projects and the price and the margins. I think there were good economically sound reasons to raise the price of video games to $70. Come at me and try and argue winsomely that I'm wrong. I dare you. I mean that. That's not ego. Like, I would love it for somebody to try to argue winsomely that there's not a good sound economic reason for game prices to go up. So let's just say that's the new price point. This is a remake, bro. This is a remake. So my point still stands. My point still stands. You're charging the top shelf price in the industry right now. The highest possible price you can charge for a remake. So what should I expect? This game should be at the level of all the other games coming out right now. It should be at the level of God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Forza 5. It should be at the level of The Last of Us Part 1. By that logic, Dead Space is spot on for what it needs to be. That's subjective. That's subjective. You're in a corner now with The Last of Us if you take this stance. Why? I played The Last of Us Part 1. It has next-gen graphical fidelity. They upgraded entire systems to put it on graphical parity with next-gen games. I was against the $70 price point. Then I played it, and I was like, well, this is a next-gen game. I think it might be more fair to compare it to other horror games because they always seem to lack graphics. This conversation should take place after you play the game. Okay, I'll see you guys later. What do you mean? Come on. He flipped once he played it. Yeah, I changed my position on The Last of Us Part 1 once I played it. You're not taking into consideration all the content they added. No, I just said that a little bit ago, P. Dudley. I just said that a little bit ago. I said, I actually think somebody could make the argument. They could say, listen, man, it's worth it because of all the stuff that they added. I think you could make a strong argument. I don't know if I'll be convinced. I don't know if I'll find it compelling, but I actually think that's one of the strongest arguments you could make. Seriously, I think the strongest argument you could make on the price point debate is you could say, okay, Lono, there's some rough edges. Okay, but they added a ton of stuff. They added content. They added New Game Plus. Right? But you're not taking in the content they added? I'm doing that right now. What are you guys not... What's happening? Are you behind? Are you not watching live? I'm literally right now saying that I actually think you could make a strong argument about that. I'm still going to say, if you had to charge $60, I wouldn't even have a show today. I wouldn't have a show if they charged $60, because I never would have said any of the stuff I said. I wouldn't have that short that is incredibly annoying because all I do is get hate, and I wouldn't be doing this show. We would be doing a review roundup of the Dead Space remake, and I'd be excited to jump in. Like that would have changed the entire landscape of the discussion for me. I am dead serious. The minute they did that, $70 next gen only, I thought this thing is going to be on par with The Last of Us Part 1 remake, the Demon Souls remake. It's going to be up there, baby. It's gonna be premium. I got excited. You should go back. Something y'all should do is you should go back and watch the Dead Space Remake gameplay stream that I did. They were doing a debut trailer, and Eugene came in and said he didn't think it was going to be that impressive from stuff he had kind of looked at, and I immediately defended the game. I said, Eugene, this thing's going to be awesome. I think this thing's going to be killer. I've seen a couple screenshots, because he was talking about Callisto Protocol. Because Callisto Protocol at that point in time looked beautiful. It actually still does look beautiful. It's just not a very good game. It's like a beautiful car with a bad engine. It just doesn't run very well, right? It doesn't turn very well. It's got problems, even though it's beautiful. So he came in that day, and I immediately started defending it because I was like excited about the Dead Space remake. I was like, bro, I think this thing's going to be phenomenal. I think it's going to crush. I think it's a super popular franchise, right? And then I watched the footage, and I was like, oh, why does it look like that? I'm confused what you're saying about quality has relation to price. Wouldn't that be subjective thing? Because to me, Dead Space is worth $70. Elden is worth free, but that's my taste. Okay, so you're discussing price to value, which is subjective. I'm not doing that, Travis. I'm not saying price to value transmission. I could spend $70 on The Last of Us Part 1 remake and feel like I got my money's worth. Somebody who has played The Last of Us, 10 times and has recently played the remaster, they might come to a different conclusion. They might be like, that's not worth $70 to me, right? That's subjective value transmission. That's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about when you come to the public, you're marketing your game, and you're like, we're doing a remake. Cool. It's $70. Nice. It's next gen only. Oh, that sets expectations. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about subjective value transmission. Somebody could play this game and be like, this is one of the greatest games I've ever played, and the person next to them could be like, because that's just subjective opinion about a game's quality. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you market a game and those boxes are all checked. Remake, $70, next gen only. Buddy, I'm looking for the top shelf. I'm looking for, okay, Demon Souls remake. Okay, Last of Us Part 1 remake. Okay, other $70 next-gen only titles. Games that are only available on next-gen right now. You better be up there. What did we say? Goodness gracious, how consistent is our coverage? What did we say about Gotham Knights? We said the same thing. We said, it's $70. You dropped old gen. I expect excellence. And we didn't get it. Right? Now, you could tell, plenty of people come in and say, I'm having fun with Gotham Knights. It's actually not that bad. That's not the question. Like, there are objective measures of quality. There are. And Gotham Knights failed some of those measures. It wasn't optimized well, didn't have 60 FPS performance mode. The graphics were demonstrably inferior to an 8-year-old game, Arkham Knight. Okay? So, is it worth it if I never played? Right now, I can give you, I've not touched it, but I can give you a recommendation to check it out, yes. According to the consensus of the review outlets, Dead Space Remake is worth buying if you haven't played. Yes. I'm a very critical, very analytical person, and I've been pretty critical and analytical of this, and I can tell you right now, based on everything I'm reading, I don't think you'll be upset with your purchase if you buy it. I don't think you will. It's like if you buy... Hang on, I want to see what Zubair said. Zubair says, it's like if you buy a $70,000 car, you would expect certain features. Whether you like the car is a separate issue. Right, like, you liking or disliking the car is not what we're really discussing. The liking and the disliking of something, you're getting down beneath, you're going down the rung of the ladder to a more difficult discussion to have. It's more subjective, right? What did Swade said? Graphics have never been the most important factor for me. However, what did the remake do to improve the art direction and ambience? What next-gen features did the remake bring to the table? Well, can you list them instead of just giving him homework, Wheeze? Like, a couple bullet points would be helpful. If you watch those videos, you don't have any bullet points from them? What'd they do? I mean, I can look at the screenshots and the trailers and be like, well, lighting looks amazing. The metal and his armor... Just his armor alone looks incredible. Like, that was the thing that got my attention the first time I saw a screenshot of the Dead Space remake. I was like, yo, his armor looked sick. But then we watched gameplay, and I was like, ooh. I was like, there's some weird stuff going on. Dead Space also has a fantastic story. What's $70 top shelf games? Because you only mentioned one game. I'd argue that's not even one of the games. Not one of those games is worth $70. So games that win tons of awards and have high critical acclaim aren't worth the top shelf price. Returnal, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok. We'll see what The Last of Us Part 1, if it gets anything. I don't know if it's going to get anything. When did it come out? Did it come out? Was it able to be nominated Game Awards last year? We'll be streaming your playthrough. It'll be my third show today. I'm doing 3 live shows today on YouTube. The guys over on Tickety Talk, you won't be able to watch it. You'll have to come over to... I can't stream gameplay over here. Returnal was worth every penny. Yeah, Returnal's won so many awards. Like, long-time lurker here. Love the content and discussions. Get out the bat. Thank you. No game is worth $70. That's an untenable position. I wouldn't pay 70 for Horizon, then don't. There are games that aren't 70 that win awards. That's not a valid argument against that. What? No. I wasn't saying winning award. You're totally misrepresenting my argument. I didn't say winning awards means it's worth $70. Like, do you honestly really? Seriously, Gale? You think you think I'm that stupid? That was my point? Come on. I wasn't saying if you win awards, you're worth $70. That wasn't the argument. The argument was, oh yeah, no games are worth 70. No, he said none of the games you listed are worth 70. And I'm like, what do you mean? They've won awards. They've won nominations. They're critically acclaimed. Why are they not worth 70? If somebody could make an argument, then what are we debating here? I don't know. Your inability to argue? Like, tell me why. Make a compelling argument as to why no game is worth 70. Do it. Try and do it. Try to make an objective argument as to why nothing should be $70. I would love to see you try. It's an axiom that cannot be supported. How can you support the argument? How? Would you rather pay 70 for Dead Space Remake or for Gotham Knights? Just curious. I would much rather pay 70 for the Dead Space Remake. Here's the thing. With the Dead Space Remake, I'm trying to see if I can play a trial on PlayStation because I don't want to buy it because I know I'll never finish it. I just don't have time. I was skeptical of the $70 for TLU 1 since I played the remaster, but the quality of the game is unimpeachable, not just because of the graphics, but the quality of life improvements. Venator says the game has added content. Graphics look pretty good, not TLU level. The original atmosphere is captured beautifully. Shooting feels better. New Game Plus looks pretty. $70 is worth it to me. Dead Space Remake gameplay looks terrible and slow. I actually don't agree with that. I think the gameplay the animations aside, I think some of the animations are clunky. I don't think it looks boring or terrible and slow. $70 price hike was not to ensure quality. It was done to lace the CEO's pockets. That's not a demonstrable position. That's conjecture and projection. Like, that's not, no. That's not at all. That's not a sustainable position. You're just arguing from conjecture and... Oh, yeah. Returnal was $70 because there's some mythical Dr. Claw-like CEO somewhere lining his pockets. Yep, that's right. Yeah, that's what happened. Next time, Gadget. He's just petting his cat and raking in the dough because they charge $70 for Returnal. When you speak in platitudinous, cartoon-like views of the world, you're not going to be taken seriously. You think they'll remake 2 and 3 now? I don't think so. It's no secret that CEOs are making all the money. Even if you want to make an argument about that, it still helps out the devs because imagine selling X number of quantity of sales of a game at 60 and the same quantity at 70. That means they get to their royalty share faster. It's better for the devs. Like, the idea, people have such like unidimensional, just almost like juvenile views of the business world. It actually helps devs for a game to do well. All these morons are like, you're not going to hurt the developers by not buying Hogwarts Legacy. Shut the frick up and take an economics class. Shut up, you uneducated rubes. Like, yes, it will hurt the developers if you boycott a game, or if you harm its commercial success, or if it doesn't sell very well. You don't think that hurts the developers? So, if that's true, if $70 is only for the CEOs and it doesn't help the developers, then what the frick are we doing? Just charge $1. Just charge a penny for video games. It won't hurt the developers. It'll only hurt the CEO. Well, the CEO will make less money. The developers will just be fine. They'll be insulated from the economic realities of supply and demand and profit margins. They will get all of the money even though they made less. Like, what? See what I'm saying? It's better for everybody. If you sell 1 million copies of a game at 60, or 1 million copies of a game at 70, right? Quick math. It's 1 million times $10. 10 million more dollars, right? And most of the times, the way the contracts are drawn up, that's really, really good for the developers. Because what that does is it either funds reinvestment, future growth in the next project, or it gets them to their royalty share faster. They hit a revenue threshold quicker. They didn't have to sell as many copies to get there, right? And then they get more money. It's not just about the CEO. So, yeah, within the $70 price debate, I don't think you can look at it that way. Returnal is not a good example of next-gen graphics fidelity and animations. What? What? What are you talking about? Returnal? Returnal is not a good example of next-gen graphics with respect to fidelity and animations? What do you say? Viceroy, what? Why did you type that? Are you joking around? Are you memeing? Did you play that game with Vaseline on your TV? What are you talking about? It's beautiful. It's stunning. The lighting effects, the animations, the bullet hell, the enemies. Woo! It is top shelf. It looks wonderful. You shouldn't argue about a game until you play it yourself, but yet again, your gameplay will basically be you complaining about every single little thing. And your argumentation will be ignored because you sound like somebody who doesn't have the ability to interact in a discussion. You just sound like some fanboy who's angry that I said something you didn't like. Get a box of Kleenex and find somewhere else to hang out. If TLU is worth 70, I think Dead Space devs have done similar amount of work if we include all aspects of the game, not only graphics. Venator, I've conceded that multiple times. I've conceded that multiple times. I think that's your strongest argument against my argument is, Lono, they've done so much to justify the remake and the price point. They've added content, they've added features, quality of life updates. It's worth it. I think that's your strongest argument. I actually think you can make a compelling and strong argument in support of the Dead Space remake at $70. I do. Lono's the only one with this view. Fallacy of the group. Do you think that makes my view incorrect or wrong? Because I'm the only one with this view? Take a history course and see how well that fallacy works out. Well... Socrates. Who's the math genius that was killed? Seer Hunter claims this is on par with the Resident Evil 1 remake. That's a high standard from quality horror enthusiasts. Pythagoras? Oh, did they kill Pythagoras as well? No, who was the guy? It's always been like a point of historical sadness that he didn't continue to write and didn't continue to do his stuff. I know Socrates was, but who was the other guy? Some other genius was. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm Socrates. What I'm saying is you can't go fallacy of the group. You end up getting. That's not a way of determining what's true. Oh, was it Galileo? Was it killed on a beach or something? The remake is getting its own standalone multiplayer, or they're making a standalone multiplayer game. Oh no! Oh, The Last of Us multiplayer game is total standalone. Yes. You guys are just throwing out names now. Plato, Leonardo, Confucius, Lazaro with a $5 tip through Super Chat. Hey, Reforgers, I agree. It doesn't look like a current gen game. Demon Souls remake is still one of the best looking remakes for me personally. Returnal, best game of the decade. Enjoy PC, guys. Yeah, it's going to be amazing on PC. So is the $70 Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut worth it? Because while it looks slightly better than the PS4 version, I don't think it was. So far, it looks like Dead Space was a much bigger leap. That's not a fair comparison at all. Thank you, Ulukt. I'm not sure how to say your name. I'm going to put that takes us to 6 members on the day. Enjoy the dope badge and emote. You are dope and deserve dope stuff. Dope stuff. All right. No. P. Dudley, that is an absolute, just such a readily measurable false equivalency. You can't say Ghost of Tsushima didn't upgrade enough. Look at how much Dead Space had such a bigger leap. Yeah, of course it did. It came out in 2008, brother. Of course it's a bigger leap. Like, you're literally saying that the graphical difference between like a remastered Charlie Chaplin movie is better than the jump from Lord of the Rings on DVD to Blu-ray. Of course the leap is bigger. It's older. Like, that's not a fair comparison at all. And if you owned Ghost of Tsushima, it was a $10 upgrade for a bunch of features. You got 3D audio, you got the haptic feedback, you got the... What was the other stuff? I haven't talked about this in such a long time, I forget all the bullet points. They upgraded all of the voiceovers. I can't think of what it was. Not a fanboy, but I've never heard a grown man complain as much as you do. Maybe you should read your own chat messages if you're a grown man. Then you could see, somebody who's just complaining like an infant. You call it debating, but how can you debate about something you haven't experienced yourself? Did you see the title of the stream? It seems like you also struggle to read. Not only do you struggle to argue, you struggle to read. The title of the stream is Dead Space Remake Review Rundown. Should I put it on the screen so you can see? This is a show about a review rundown. We're giving a rundown of the reviews and saying, yeah, there's a consensus. This game is beloved. People are saying that review roundup. Sorry, not rundown. Review roundup. My bad. I got my title of my stream wrong. In any case. He won't catch that mistake, guys, because he apparently can't read. But this is a roundup of the reviews of the game, which I know this is going to be really, really tough to take because you can't read. You probably can't tell what time it is either. It's 10:30 in the morning. The game's not playable for another 30 minutes. It's not playable yet. So we're doing a roundup of the reviews of the Dead Space remake. I'm going to play it later today on stream. You can watch me. Jiminy Christmas. Lono talking crap about reading is rich. Shut up, Zubair. Shut up. I think they added the addition to the $70 due to the fact they added the voice actors to play through the whole game versus the original. Makes sense to me to cover cost. Yeah. I mean, at one level, do you read talk? I'm sorry. I got caught up. I didn't read what you guys were saying over here. I apologize. I need to get a stream key so I can blend my chats. Returnal was worth every penny. I'd be fine giving 70 if the game had content, not 70 for a buggy Battle Pass filled mess. What $70 buggy Battle Pass mess are you talking about? Should the KOTOR remake look like Jedi Survivor after licensing fees and work porting the new gen? I mean, I would hope that any new Star Wars games look at least as good as Jedi Survivor, yes. Yeah. Preacher, my producer, he's logged in on my other channel. He says no remake should be full price. Guy says, okay, no. Okay, no, I don't. I just read all of chat over here and got caught up, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's lagging or something and you're watching like a few minutes behind and haven't heard me say it yet. Hey, Lono, as a primary Spotify VOD listener, due to me listening at work, is there ever a possibility of you bringing lives to that platform as well? Man, we looked into it. There's just not a good technological solution to doing it. I would love to be live everywhere all at once. But, yeah, it's just a pain in the butt. We tried it once. Full voice acting, open-ended map, no longer a linear game, side quest, secret ending, completely reworked gameplay, all next-gen features, but graphics aren't top shelf, not 70. Well, of course, when you stack it up that way, listen, let me make my point, Ray. Let me make my point. The people that jumped all over me because of my short, I had nothing else to base it on. So if you're going to walk out and promote your game as a $70 remake and you show gameplay footage with low-res textures and low-res animations, and I point that out, and all these fanboys want to get out their pitchforks and do like a butthurt brigade in my comments, that's because they're insecure. That has nothing to do with what I said. I wasn't out of pocket. I wasn't saying anything that was hate. I said, it looks plastic. That's all I said. Do you want to upset Dead Space fans? It's really easy. They're fragile and insecure, apparently. All you have to do is say, it looks plastic. What? What did you say? Kill him. So I said it looks plastic. Don't burn me alive, please. I said it looks plastic. That's all I said. That's it. It doesn't look next gen. Burn him at the stake. What? It's a simple observation. It's a simple... Give me another close-up. Yeah. It's just a simple observation. You'd be great in a metalcore band. Thank you for a 5-spot. $5 tip through Super Chat. Software dev here saying, I love my company because of so many products, features, and support were made free, and quality game a race to the bottom. Well, sure. Project management and scope of projects can certainly be a race to the bottom. I dealt with that when I worked for a tech company for a little while. That was a constant struggle. Be prepared to shovel out $70 for it. This guy says, bro, listen to yourself. You're out of control. Take a breath. I'm doing a bit. It's a bit. That wasn't genuine. This guy probably stumbled into the stream when I was yelling. He's like, oh my gosh. This guy's going to have a heart attack. Oh, it's doing a bit. The only impressive thing visually about Returnal was the particles in the enemies. Everything else had low-quality textures. Okay, Viceroy, what you're saying is objectively false. That's demonstrably false. You're just saying something that is not true. There aren't low-quality textures in Returnal. There aren't. You won't find a single technical breakdown or graphical breakdown of Returnal that agrees with what you're saying. You're just speaking out of your rear end, bro. This dude is literally vibrating. Yeah, that was one of my favorite comments. Dude is literally vibrating. It was one of my shorts where I was like going off. I was like, dude is literally vibrating. This guy's going off the rails. Clearly this is a cry for help. Why is no one helping him? Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Not TLU level, since apparently that's the standard now. No. Okay, wait. What? Right, man. A bunch of crap being on screen doesn't make it next gen. Those environments and animations weren't blowing anybody away. Listen, I can't say this without sounding disrespectful. You guys are ignorant. You don't know what you're talking about. You literally are just speaking ignorantly. Like, I can't tell if you're just trying to bait an argument. Like, you're attacking Returnal. You know I like Returnal. Returnal's been highly praised. And you're literally just spewing bullshit in my chat. Like, that's all it is. I can't even take you seriously. You're not actually entering the landscape of discussion. You're just like, I'm going to say something brain dead and dumb that's unsubstantiated. It's not demonstrable. I can't demonstrate this with facts, but I'm just going to say it. Like, oh, Returnal, it's not next gen. Low quality textures. Where are the low quality textures? Where? Tell me. Show me a video. Show me a graphical breakdown that talks about that. Like, anybody that's educated on this has talked about how the technical prowess of Returnal is impressive. It is a monster of a game. And like, you can't demonstrate your claims. You're just saying stuff to, like, take a shot. And I never said that The Last of Us Part 1 remake was the bar. I was saying within the realm of $70 remakes. Like, if you're going to do a $70 remake, there are other $70 remakes out there right now. There is the Demon's Souls remake, and then there is The Last of Us Part 1 remake. Don't be so butthurt for a game. That's projection. I'm just stating facts. I'm the one telling you how it is. I'm not upset. I literally said I can't take it seriously. Like, it just seems like childish. In the main character model. That's not true. Returnal wasn't a great next generation showcase. Anybody with an education in the technical aspects of Returnal is not in agreement with that. People that actually analyze that game and what it did with its graphical fidelity, its animations, its seamless load times, there isn't anybody that agrees with you that actually knows what they're talking about. Like, you're just saying, like, it's just ignorant. You're just saying ignorant stuff. It doesn't even have anything to do with Dead Space anyway. See, this is so funny. This happens all the time. This happens all the time, and it's always from the same people. It's always from the same people. No, that's just a glitch barrier. It's happened before. We're talking about the Dead Space remake, and you're taking a shot at Returnal, and surprise, surprise, you guys typically are in here taking shots at PlayStation. Gee, I wonder why you're banging on that drum. I wonder why. Like, your slip is showing. Like, come on. It has nothing to do with the Dead Space remake. It doesn't. It's not even related. It's not even tangentially related. I mean, maybe you could say it's related because it's a $70 game, but it's not related to the Dead Space remake. And if you really want to do a side-by-side comparison of the Dead Space remake and Returnal? Do you really want to do that? This is what Digital Foundry said about Returnal. The end result is a presentation that looks better than the native 1080p pixel counts that tend to emerge from untreated geometry, but this can't really pass as a full-blooded 4K presentation, dynamic or otherwise, especially on certain textures with high specularity, such as wet ground and water surfaces, when you can sometimes see an obvious Moore pattern. Image quality in general can sometimes look a little fuzzy or grainy in motion too, owing that to the TAA upscaling and checkerboarding. Yeah, but what mode are they talking about? I've never seen any of that in Returnal. Are they talking about when they try to push the 4K and it goes dynamic on everything? Because that's not representative of what we're talking about. You could say that about any game. You could say that about any game that you put on its 4K mode. The stuff gets blurry on the movement because you're lowering everything in order to get 4K. That's true of all the games that you can throw on 4K right now. You lose that sharpness and that crispness. You can sense those patterns. You can see the 4K checkerboarding. Digital Foundry got my back. They didn't say that the game is low texture or not next gen. They're describing what happens when you up everything. Like when you put everything at 4K. That happens in Ghost of Tsushima. That happens in God of War 2018. All games right now, when you put them on the fidelity mode, you're going to see that. It doesn't mean that the game isn't next gen, which is what you said. It doesn't mean that the game has low resolution textures, which is what that was the claim. I wish we could get the internet days of just enjoying games and being happy wherever they land. I'm glad I have every platform. Oh, every platform to play. Yeah, that happens on 3090s. Digital Foundry does not have your back. They called the game a technical powerhouse. Yeah, like, Digital Foundry says it's a technical powerhouse. And then we get into the specifics of what it does to maintain its high fidelity. They're like, oh, there are times where this happens. That doesn't support what you're talking about. I never said it wasn't next gen. Man, I miss the days where I could click on somebody's name and see what they said in chat. I can't find, because it's probably not even in chat anymore. The only impressive thing visually about Returnal was the particles and enemies. Everything else had low-quality textures. Big, broad, platitudinous statement that's not substantiated even by the Digital Foundry article. Everything else had low-quality textures. The particles and enemies were the only thing impressive visually. Get out of here. Don't try and rewrite history. You were talking about the game as if it wasn't next-gen and it wasn't visually impressive, and Digital Foundry's like, it's a technical powerhouse. It's brilliant. There are times, sure, all games do that. I missed your super chat, East Coast. East Coast Overlord with a $5 tip. Coming from someone with a tech background, they made 3D Toho, I don't know what that is, in Returnal, and you're out here telling me it's not technically impressive? Get real. Magical Fat Guy with 16-month milestone. Haven't been able to listen in a while because my job's cracking down on my earbuds, but I'm glad I've been able to tune in today. Thank you so much for a 16-month milestone as a member. Hey, we've only gotten 6 members today. Let's get to that 25 member goal. Let's pay it forward to some of the people that are here that don't have a membership. I agree, Returnal looked mid besides particle effects. Money on the table, you didn't play it. Money on the table. Returnal looked mid. It's always from the people. It's always from the same people. You guys always say the same weird stuff. Returnal looked mid. What? I just don't even get it. Are you a Dead Space fan? I missed out on Dead Space 1 and I missed out on Dead Space 2. I played Dead Space 3 when it came out only because it had co-op. I was like looking for a game to play with my buddy. So we played Dead Space 3 and we had a blast. And I've always been told I'm missing out. Go back, you got to go back and play Dead Space 1. You got to go back and play it, man. And so I was really, really excited about this remake. I still am, to be fair. I still am. I'm like, okay, I really want to see if this game's as good as everybody says it is, right? I got to play the game to see the graphics. It looked mid. Okay. So when I looked at the Dead Space remake gameplay, Black Superman, I pointed out things that looked really, really good, and then I pointed out things that I thought didn't look really, really good. I didn't have to play it to do that, okay? When you're going to just platitudinously broad stroke say, Returnal looked mid, yes, I'm going to say you obviously didn't play it. You just didn't. Because even if you've never played it, you can look at the trailers and the gameplay videos and see impressive next-gen graphics, lighting, animations, particle effects, enemy movement, the bosses. So, yes, it's easy to be like, yeah, you didn't touch this. You didn't play this if you think that. If you're just going to broad stroke say it looked mid. I never said that about the Dead Space remake. I said the textures on the enemies didn't look good. I said there were low-resolution animations. But then I said the lighting looks incredible. His suit looks incredible. The metal, the structure of the world, if you compare it to the original game, it actually looks great. Do you see? Like, even in my criticism of the Dead Space remake, based on gameplay we've seen thus far, I'm not doing broad stroke platitude of like, oh, it just looks mid, it looks bad. I don't say that. Why? Well, because we only have the footage to go on. I'm gonna have to be, okay, that looks good, that doesn't look so good. So just be like, yeah, Returnal looked mid. Yeah, you don't own the console. Is another bet. Another bet I would be willing to make. This game's performance speaks more than its image quality. Sheesh. Wait, hang on. What's he saying? Oh, that's not what Skillup said. Where are you getting that? Are you just saying that? I feel that anybody trying to argue about bad graphics nowadays hasn't upgraded their PC console in years. Oh, Digital Foundry. The game's performance speaks more than its image quality. What are they saying that about, Wheezy? Which game? I gave criticism and praise to Returnal graphics, and I was called a fanboy and a hater. I didn't call you a fanboy or a hater. I didn't say that. I didn't. You put forth an argument that Returnal wasn't next gen. You can claim you didn't, but you did. I don't know the exact phrasing that you used, but you indicated that Returnal wasn't a next gen game. It wasn't representative of next gen. And then you went on to say why you thought that. Let's bet. How much you want to bet? I have a Series X and a PS5. I'll show you my God of War Ragnarok PS5 trophies. That to me is odd then. I don't know. Again, my original you haven't played Returnal. If you played Returnal on a really nice television or a really nice monitor, I cannot fathom you enjoying Ratchet and Clank and God of War Ragnarok and saying Returnal looks mid. I can't fathom it. I can't. It doesn't make any sense. It's like, what did you do when you turned that game on the videos on YouTube? Turn the resolution down? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. If you own a PS5 and you've played Ragnarok and you thought Ratchet and Clank looked amazing, I don't know. What's your measurement for bashing Returnal? It doesn't make any sense. Digital Family Returnal. Returnal, because getting a game to run at that fidelity with a number of enemies with that many particle effects and for it to all be 60 FPS was a technical marvel and an achievement, not to mention the speed of the combat, how fast you are, how fast the enemies are. Correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't typically the fidelity drop happen when animation frames are pushed past their intended limit? Like when people make 30 FPS animations and someone makes it 60, it looks ugly. Yeah, that was a challenge when they brought Horizon Zero Dawn to PC. The clothing animations and the game animations were all at 30. I bought the game last night, waiting to play till 11 a.m. Is it not good? No. As far as the reviews are concerned, the Dead Space Remake is well worth your time and well worth your money. The reviews are undeniably, there's a consensus that it's very good. I had continued to say, and still continue to say, there's graphical elements that I don't think look that great because it's a $70 next-gen remake. And I got shredded, absolutely shredded on my short for saying one of the necromorphs looked plastic, and the fans lost their minds. They literally went insane in my comments. I watched Digital Foundry video on Returnal at 4K 60. Again, I don't know what your measurement is then. Like, it just sounds inconsistent to be like, Ratchet and Clank looks amazing, God of War Ragnarok looks amazing, but Returnal looked mid. But why? What's your measurement? Like, what made you come to that conclusion? Like, make an argument. Don't just say something looks mid. What was it? What did you see? What was the problem? Well, those aren't true fans of the game then. Oh, I got absolutely shredded. And there was a time where the video was going to make me money, but then they brigaded against it and they mass reported it and they got it age restricted. It just does to me. Maybe Ratchet and Clank set the bar too high. Yeah, but so you can't substantiate, not substantiate. You can't, what's the word? Quantify. You can't quantify what, like, anything about it that looks bad? I just watched your video on Hogwarts Legacy, and having the Quidditch pitch in the game definitely leaves an open spot for a multiplayer update in the near future. Thank you. Apparently, it's baked into the lore that the headmaster has banned it. The headmaster has banned it, so that's a good reason for them to bring it later. What did you see? What was the problem? Who hurt you? I've never played Dead Space. It's a great time to jump in for the first time, according to the reviews. Jeremy, Nebraska, I thought you were a new sub. We have 12 out of 21 subs over here on the Tickety Talk. Over here on YouTube, let me make a quick pitch. There's so many people here with gray names. Let me make a membership pitch to you. You're on YouTube, right? You're like, why would anybody pay money to a YouTuber because of advertisements, okay? This is a live streamer channel. We live off the members. You may have noticed that the chat is full of green names and joysticks. Maybe you don't see a green name, but you see joystick next to people's names. Those are members. They get into members-only lunch breaks with me every day, Friday night streams. Tonight I'll be streaming with my brother. It will be hilarious. They get into our members-only Discord. That is a way to support me directly, so consider pressing the join button or the $ at the bottom of the chat. $5 a month gets you into the entire month's worth of extra content. We have a great community here. Jump in, get committed. If you cannot afford a membership, but you really like this show, be here as often as you can, so when people gift members, you might get one. And then if we hit 25 members, we've hit this goal every day since like November when we started doing it. I will gift 5 if we hit that. I wonder what it is that makes people so sensitive about others disliking a game or making even mild criticisms about a game that they just won. Is it financial investment or purely just ego? I'm not upset by somebody saying Returnal looks mid or Returnal doesn't look next gen. The whole debate started because I said I can't even take that seriously. I can't. It's a bewildering position to look at a next-gen game that's been highly praised by virtually anybody who's broken it down technically and graphically, for somebody to say it doesn't look next-gen or it looks mid. I'm more bewildered than anything. I'm like, look at what I said. I was like, why? Why are you saying that? Like a detective. I'm like, give me a reason here. I want to understand what you're saying. How did you come to this conclusion? And I've not been provided answers. I've been provided like, I don't know, it just looks mid. Demon Souls and Ratchet looked just wow, amazing. See, that's what's confusing to me. Like, Demon Souls, Ratchet, amazing, Returnal, mid. I'm like, wait, what? Like, by what measurement? By what measurement? What's it failing to do? It's like when Quantum said that Elden Ring graphics were dog and gave no reason. Yeah. That guy is something. All right, let's take a look here. Is it available yet? Okay. No, it still says pre-order. It still says pre-order. I want to know if I can play this game on a trial. It still says pre-order. I bet you it's noon. 11:01, and it still says pre-order on Dead Space. A different era with half a year of membership, not to mention beating Returnal came with a great feeling of accomplishment. People just come to conclusions with no underlying thought beyond, I just don't like it. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. Right? Like, let's say you take a drink of something. Here's a great one. There's a giant spectrum of flavor potential in beer. There are people who love IPAs. There are people that think they're way too bitter, right? When you taste it, you can say it's too bitter, but that's all you can really say. Or you could just be like, I don't like it. It doesn't taste good. Why? I don't know. I just don't like it. There's just certain things that don't taste good. There's just certain things that you don't like, right? You might even look at a painting and say that. Like, I just don't like it. Why? I don't know. I just don't like it. You didn't take an art class. You're not a painting aficionado, so you can't like break down the use of color and negative space or any of that. You just say, I don't like it, okay? That's fine. If someone says, I just didn't like it, or like, yeah, I just didn't like the way that it looked, okay, that's fine. But when you're like, it looks mid, well, okay, wait, that's a qualitative statement. That's not you saying you didn't like it. You're saying, oh, it looks mid. That's a judgment. Okay, now I would like you to substantiate the judgment. I want you to support it. And when someone can't do that, I'm like, well, yeah. As I said, 25 minutes ago, it's hard to take those perspectives seriously because they don't line up with any of the technical analysis that I've looked at for the game. It's like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Where are you coming from? I'm so glad this convo has happened because now I can say graphics are relative to the gameplay and the genre, and for a slow, tight corridor survival horror, Dead Space doesn't look good enough, says Eugene. Still not available on Steam. Already downloaded, just waiting for them to unlock it. Yeah, it's supposed to be 11 a.m. Eastern, so it might just be delayed. Returnal's art style was very generic. I have to see. This guy's been throwing out bait all morning. When did you create your account? Okay, your account's been around for a long time. Just bait. That's bait. If you compare Returnal textures to textures in Demon Souls and Ratchet and Clank, you'd see a huge difference. Returnal's nowhere near the quality of Demon Souls and Ratchet and Clank. I think that's a fundamental misunderstanding of art direction, though. Dead Space is available. It wasn't for me. It's available on Xbox now. Okay, maybe I just need to reset my PlayStation. Returnal games are for children. Demon Souls is a slow game. Ratchet isn't as fast either. Yeah, I wonder if that's part of the problem. Is like Returnal is so fast and it's bullet hell that they had to turn some of those things down in order to maintain performance. And it's like, well, yeah, but if I go and look at Ratchet and Clank, you know, it looks way better. Humanity ends here. It still says pre-order. It still says pre-order on PlayStation. I wanted to see if I was going to be able to play it as a trial. Release date new to old. That's what I want to see. I want to see if I could play it as a trial. I don't want to spend $70 on Dead Space because I know I'll never finish it. I'm just too busy. You just launched it on your PlayStation? You can't compare Ratchet and Clank to games like Returnal or Dead Space. Two different types of graphics. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, it's kind of crazy. I wonder if I might have to actually buy this game. That's the thing I wonder. I don't think they're doing a trial on it. I'm playing it right now. No trial. It's on EA Play. Is your store updated? There is no trial for Dead Space. See, because mine says... hang on. Let me do... See, mine just says pre-order, which to me means it's not available. There is a trial on EA Play. So if I'm an EA Play subscriber, I can try it. But I don't have EA Play. EA Play is just showing me a discount. Try EA Play on Game Pass. Support good games. I'm not going to throw $70 away on a game that I'll never finish. That's stupid. You have Game Pass Ultimate? I do. Are you telling me I could get this on my Xbox? If you have Game Pass Ultimate, you have EA Play. So I could get this on my Xbox. Thank you so much for the $5 tip through Super Chat, Virus Phantom. I don't know why they chose to go with the $70, but this is EA. New leaf, same tree, but maybe it doesn't look next gen, but it'll feel next gen. Okay, I'll get it on my Xbox then. It's not in the room with me. It's in the other room. It's in the entertainment room. That's what I'm telling you. Okay, thank you, Wheezy. I wasn't catching what you were putting down. Cloud status on Steam keeps changing from unknown to up to date. I think they're trying to release it. It always takes a while, like regionally, for the servers to update so that like a game is available. Yeah, I am all for buying games and supporting good games, but I'm not gonna pay for a game I know I'll never finish. That just is not sensible. The game is short, homie. Some of my favorite games I have not been able to play to completion. I haven't done everything in Ghost of Tsushima I've wanted to do. I haven't gone back and done a second completion of Returnal like I've wanted to do. The last thing I'm going to do is make time for a game I'm like, you know, reasonably interested in. If there are games at the tippity top of my interest and love that haven't gotten enough time. I'm just too busy. I'm just way too busy. There's no shot EA Play has a trial. What do you mean? When you have EA Play, you can play EA games for like an hour or something before they're like, hey, if you want this, you have to buy it. You always get the first 10 hours. Oh, I thought it was shorter than that. Oh my gosh. Yo, what's good, Khalid? Lono, I stand in solidarity. I also have troubles with completion. Why wouldn't you finish Dead Space? It's great. I just said why. I don't have time. I've got 2 kids. I'm very busy. I don't even have time for games that I absolutely love with my whole soul. So, yeah. I don't have time for time for games that I absolutely love. Dead Space is a classic. I played the original a few months ago. There's way more story and characters in it than I did remember. People without kids will never understand where all the time goes. I know, people are like, why don't you watch sports anymore? Why don't you play video games anymore? So why don't you finish games? The more Lono finds out about Game Pass, the more his mind is blown like a meme. I don't use my Xbox all that often lately. I just don't. I can't love a game with my soul. I sold that a long time ago. Stupid. Maybe you need to get your priorities straight and start playing more games. That's good. That's good. I feel like I've seen you on something before, but I can't pinpoint it. I used to stream on the Purple platform and cover Destiny, and we have since moved everything to YouTube under a different name and brand, and we cover we do variety gaming coverage right now. So I'm on YouTube right now, 600 some viewers under Reforge Gaming. By the way, could we hit 400 likes on this video? I bet you we could on YouTube. We only need 60 people to do it. Over here on the Tickety Talk, I bet you we could hit 4,000. If you just wanted to play it for the stream, you could use my Origin login. No, I'm not going to do that. Dead Space is on EA Play Pro subscription, no trial. Oh. Yeah, Jake's right. Jake's saying there's no trial on EA Play. Oh my goodness, that's where I know you from? Yeah. I'm still around. I know many people probably don't know that or wish it wasn't true. Yeah. Have had a bit of a comeback. Have had a bit of a glow up. Video game streamer that can't play games. What a tragedy. What a true tragedy. That's true. That's so true. Yo, what's good, Dan? How are you? Also, former E3 host. You may have seen me main stage E3 2019. Maybe. Been 2 more days to finish Force Broken. My soul said no more crappy games. I'm not sure what you're saying. Did you finish it? I love your Destiny stuff. You taught me so much. Well, I appreciate that. I do. At some level, I miss it. At some level, I miss it. I feel like I recognize you. I feel like I recognize your face. Like, I don't know. That was a long time ago. Dweezy. EA Play Pro members get access to Dead Space EA Play Pro Edition. Oh, so if I upgrade to EA Play Pro... Dead Space is loading, currently finishing, downloaded now on Steam. Khalid was 16 months. When you have kids, you get solo aggro, man. I'm telling you. Thanks so much for jumping back in, Khalid. Guys, this number over here is looking so lonely down in the corner. It's going to be the first time since November we haven't hit the goal. Let's hit that 25 member goal, and then I'll gift 5, pay it forward. You can gift 1 member at a time, by the way. If you're like, hey, I'll gift 1, right? Maybe you already have a membership. Maybe somebody already gifted 1 to you. I found you through another video from Upper Echelon. Stayed after the discussions. Yeah, Upper helped. Upper Echelon helped with his coverage. He did. I appreciated his coverage. We've obviously, tried to move on from, really focusing on any of that. Bigger and better things, baby. Bigger and better things. The review line that caught my eye was describing the gameplay as being so immersive you will not want to stop playing even for a bathroom break. Having never played the original, I got excited. I don't know... Lono is whitening show with Khalid's name again? What do you mean, Khalid? How am I saying it wrong? Isn't that how you pronounce it? Khalid? Am I emphasizing the wrong part of the word? I thought that's how Khalid was pronounced. Correct? Yeah, I'm saying it right. Yeah. I've I've known people with that name. I was like, I'm pretty sure. EA Play Pro is $100 a year. You get all the first-party games deluxe version, usually before the official release. If only 2 games come out a year, you're still saving money. You would get Dead Space in the Jedi game. Yeah, but you see, I really prefer to play games on my, I really prefer to play games on my PlayStation 5. Can I get EA Play Pro on my PlayStation? Or can I only get it on the Xbox? Can I upgrade over there too? Dead Space is trash game. Trill Raw, what are you saying? Why are you saying stuff like that? I would have done something like Khalid. Oh, Khalid? No, Khalid. Don't know if you buy it. Argument over. Pro is only on PC? Ew. Ugh. I guess I'm buying it. Don't ain't got time to play on Xbox? No, you want to know what it is? I own a black controller, 2 white controllers, a God of War Ragnarok controller, and then I got the PlayStation 5 Edge controller. And you know what none of them do? None of them stick drift. I'm running out of Xbox controllers that don't stick drift, and I'm just freaking tired of it. Now, I know it's not unique to Xbox, but I've just gotten really lucky for whatever reason with my PlayStation 5 controllers. Like, knock on wood, like a drum set. I'm not kidding you. That's one of the reasons where I'm like, I don't want to freaking get a game on the Xbox. I've like one controller left. One sad little homie that somehow doesn't have stick drift yet. The black controller with the blue light is sexy, isn't it? Oh, it turned off. TS5 District, stick drift out of the box. You got lucky. I am 100% not bashing Xbox when I say that. I just have had terrible luck with their controllers. Absolutely terrible luck with their controllers. So, all right, let me get Dead Space. I'm really sad there's no No. I don't want EA Play. Oh, here we go. Confirm purchase. How's the new controller Edge? I'm going to use it today when I play Dead Space, and I'll tell you, I think it feels amazing. It feels really nice. You guys want to see it? Lono, I heard you have the keys to the city. I don't have the keys to the city. Unless you're reading Augustine, City of God, maybe. What Talika said, if you have to buy it, at least choose the platform where you're most likely to get a refund. No, I don't want to play it on Steam. Listen, I hate playing PC games. I do. I'm grumpy old man status, bro. I'm grumpy old man status. Like, I just want it to work. And you know what I've never had to worry about when I play a game on my PlayStation? I'm like, it'll work. I'm not going to have screen tearing, stuttering. I'm not going to have a driver conflict. I'm not going to have problems with capture. I freaking hate playing games on PC. Suck at PC Master Race. I do. I freaking hate it. No, I read pre-41280 Augustine. I'm listening to a bunch of lectures on philosophers, so Augustine's on my mind. It'll be we just got out of Platonius is his name. There was Poly, there was Pythagorean, then there was Platonius, then there was the Neoplatonists, and now we're getting into, because they're talking about emanation. So freaking crazy. Anyways, And then that'll lead to Augustine, and then that'll lead to Thomas Aquinas. Then there was Tate. Lucretius predicted the atom. They were all super close to predicting the atom. The unseen source in everything, like they were all super close to it, right? Because there was like the very first guy was like everything's made of water, and then there was somebody like no, everything's made of air, and then they were like no, there's got to be something that we can't see that's in everything, something unseen. It is really cool. Ontological arguments, yeah. The study of being, so cool. Yeah, emanation, talking about like how the light of a flame is ontologically dependent upon the flame, right? So if the light coming from the candle is ontologically dependent upon the flame's existence, are there elements of our existence that are ontologically dependent upon something else, something that is emanated reality? It's so freaking fun to think through. It's fun. Modal ontological argument is fun. Are you explaining Dark Souls lore? Yeah, it's the same. It's the same. It's the same. Existentialism is mid. Dualism. Plato believed in dualism, right? Two realities. Yeah. Dualism is mid, bro. It's freaking mid. Are you an English major? No. Do we need to get madam? No. Everybody calm down. Golly. Sounds complicated. It really is complicated. Yeah. It is, what was the one he dropped the other day that was so freaking mind-blowing? Not ontological, it's epistemological, right? Epistemological is the study of knowledge, right? How we know things. It was the starting position that's unavoidable, that like epistemology presupposes metaphysics, and metaphysics presupposes epistemology. and around she goes. And people are like, what the frick is this guy talking about? Oh man. Sorry everybody. Sorry. We're getting off topic. All right. Getting off topic. I can always tell the topic's dead in the water when Lono goes into a philosophical one. Well, no, I'm installing the game. Everybody. You know, I'm installing it. At the very least, it'd be fun to boot it up and take a look at the settings and stuff. You know what I mean? What is he talking about? I mean, I can give you a quick philosophy 101 on it. So, like, you know, the idea of metaphysics are like realities that exist beyond the physical realm. Meta, above, overarching, physics, the physical, metaphysics. So the idea, like a moral claim is a metaphysical claim. It's a metaphysical claim. Like it's not a physical claim. You can't find it in the physical realm. And then epistemology is the study of knowledge. How do we know things, right? How do you have knowledge, and why is your knowledge trustworthy? And so they both presuppose each other. They both assume the other exists. So, yeah, and then a lot of the early philosophers got into the logos, right? A source or a thing or an existence. Yeah. John from Digital Foundry said the VRS on PS5 is weird, and he suggests the Xbox version of the game. Thanks, Wheezy. Thanks. Thank you. It's installing on my PS5 right now, bro. Madam, Lono's gone nuts. Please come save us. Forget what I was listening to today. What I was listening to this morning, what was so interesting, it was the emanation. It was the emanation ideas. that existence came about through emanation, some unseen or some uncaused cause caused everything, and everything is emanating from that. Like light emanating from a candle, it is ontologically dependent upon the candle, and our existence is, our being is dependent upon something. Like they were early philosophers were like just on their own coming up with that. They weren't getting it from sacred text or anything. Just through thinking, observation, and theorizing, they came up with that. This guy says, I would recommend the Xbox version as the VRS implementation on PS5 is rather gnarly. It's also an issue on the Xbox Series X, but less noticeable. That's what is that? The variable, what's VRS? Variable resolution or variable refresh? No, VRR is variable refresh rate. What's VRS? Variable resolution? Stanley? I don't know. I got Dead Space on Steam since it comes with Dead Space 2. Can play it on Steam Deck also. When Brono arrives, he may need to reset you. Variable rate shading. Oh. According to Google, it's the Virginia retirement system. Oh, that's good. Variable rate shading. Okay. Do you listen to non-game music while gaming? No, I do not. I do not. Typically when I'm gaming, I'm streaming, so, you know, I don't have the ability to do that. I can't, like, throw on the music that I would like to listen to, you know? Okay. Rate shading. So far off the tracks is starting a new life as a tugboat. That's right. I googled VRS and that was the first result. What do you want me to do? That's right. That's right. If you guys are just tuning in, we have been... hang on a second. I want to try my new controller out. Okay. Turn off. How do I... Do I need to plug it in? What do I do something on the front of the PlayStation? Or can I do it in here? Can I do it in the PlayStation? I don't want to like get up from my chair and have to do stuff if I don't have to. Accessories. Bluetooth accessories. Can I like add another one? I'm assuming you just hold the button down for a really long time? Plug it in first? I know I can plug it in. I thought maybe there'd be a simpler way to do it. You know what I mean? I mean, I know I can do that. Alright. Let's just do this. Turn off. Dumb. Where'd I put it? Oh, there it is. Okay. Aha! Welcome to the DualSense Edge wireless controller. Later. That's fine. Leave me alone. Okay. Ooh, it's pretty, isn't it? Gotta kiss it seductively. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not. Why would I do that? It's just like just a controller, guys. There, I unplugged it. I unplugged it from the I unplugged it from the PlayStation. So now it's on and it's linked, and you're a good little boy, aren't you? It's so pretty. Sorry. Gameplay recording pause because you entered a blocked scene. Hang on. I don't know what they're gonna put. An EA account is required to access online features. No, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. This is the email address across all games. What? Why can't I just play the game? Like, why can't I just play the game, bro? You're gonna make me go find my password? You already have an EA account. Yeah, I gotta go find my password. So annoying. Copy password. Oh gosh. How do I show high password? Okay. I'm glad I'm doing this now. Stuff's so freaking annoying. Welcome to your new game. We just need one thing from you. Can you go find an obscure username and password you probably haven't used in 18 months? And I can't wait for it to tell me that my absolute favorite is when you go through this and it's like, you haven't reset your password in X number of months. You now need to... How do I keep track of my passwords? I use an application. Studied metaphysics in 5th grade cartography? What? Do you have an Elite controller? Do you like having the 2 paddles in the back with the edge? This is why I like having the paddles in the back. Look at the small ones that you can do. And I showed this yesterday. So like this is me holding the controller, right? My fingers are on the thumb, I'm sorry, the triggers. And then look at that. Look at how just that easy reach. Okay. Menu narration, no, I don't need that. Yeah, we want subtitles on. Yes, invert that. Hang on. More settings. Display and graphics. I don't want any motion blur. I don't want any film grain. Performance mode is on. Thank you. Gameplay. Accessibility. Is there a way to turn off the gore? So that we don't get, wait, camera shake. Hate camera shake. Display and graphics. Language and subtitles. Heading over to YouTube so I can see the gameplay. Yeah. No gore. I'm trying not to get age restricted on frickin' YouTube. I don't have to look like an idiot with my PS5. Well, you're only going to have those small paddles. You're only going to have those small paddles on the Edge controller. Right? There are bigger paddles, but as I showed you, my fingers go right here for triggers, and then my middle finger just reaches right out. It's really nice. Turn off gore in Dead Space. You're hurting my soul. Yeah, apparently you can't do it. Show a content warning prior to scenes that could be potentially disturbing. Okay, there we go. Yo, it's good, Jeremy. Good to have you over here. Okay. Well, that's everything. That's everything. Oh, shoot. I did not. Let me schedule it for 12:15. Thoughts on skill-based matchmaking. What do you think about the dichotomy of game journalists being woke, but gamers are based? That sounds incredibly simplistic and tribalistic and not accurate. There are plenty of game. I don't call them journalists. I don't think we have gaming journalists. I think we have bloggers that are glorified content creators. And I don't necessarily think they are in such a rigid category as quote unquote woke. I do think there's a trend emerging that they sort of follow whatever, is the current front wave culture mob trend. I do think that exists, but I don't think every outlet is doing that or kind of marching to that drum. So, yeah. I also think plenty of gamers are not quote-unquote base. I think some of them are stupid and just as, like, cavemen tribalistic-esque that just mob people who don't agree. All right. Okay. Lono censors gore. You're breaking my heart. You're going down a pathway I don't think I can go. That's right. All right, let me go back here. Okay. How dare you call us a tribalist mob? Come on, boys, let's get them. That's good. That's good. That's well done. That's a good joke. All AAA studios are woke and their sales are bad. See, when you make statements like that, you end up looking foolish because it's easy to demonstrate that you're false and you're wrong. Like, that's not true. Like, plenty of AAA studios are doing just fine. Commercial sales are up. Quantity of sales are doing quite good. So, like, when you say something like that, you just end up sounding stupid because it's not demonstrable in the market. Like, you can't be like, look at all these AAA games, man. All their sales are down. No, it's not true in the least. The opposite's true. Like, you're just dealing in platitudes. You're not dealing in reality. You know what I mean? You're ironically doing the thing. You're doing the thing that you're claiming the other side's doing. Like, you're being tribalistic and narrow. You gonna play Hogwarts? Yeah, we'll be playing that when it comes out. You being a gangster again? What's good, Richard? Add some birds or a horse to the equation. All right. So, as a way to end this discussion today, because we will be playing the Dead Space, remake later. That'll be our third stream of the day. So we will be doing that later. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you are set up so you don't miss my content. We will also be doing a show today about Xbox in 2023. Myself, 30 and So Gaming, and my brother will be joining us to discuss, you know, what that platform needs to do this year. Are they having a strong start with their showcase? Open my copy of Dead Space just to see it defaults to 800 by 600. Did I miss a woke cry? No, just somebody on the tickety talk, just being, I don't even know what. Just saying silly stuff. All AAA games are woke and their sales are failing. Like, I don't know. Probably lives terminally on 4chan or something. But we're not done with this conversation yet. So make sure if you're on YouTube, make sure you smash the like button. Get us to 400 likes. And let's continue a part of this conversation. So I'm curious what you guys think about this. This was part of the discussion today. I ended my show open and I said that remakes are always going to create these passionate debates, and remakes are likely going to continue, right? And there's still this sentiment that's sort of anti-remake. They don't want remakes. They think remakes are cash grabs. Do you think the success of the Dead Space remake, is it going to influence and spawn more remakes, right? And will there be a growing acceptance to those remakes because of the Dead Space remake? Like, are we going to see a rise in the acceptance of it? Because we also have the Resident Evil 4 remake on the horizon as well, which should firmly cement people's confidence that remakes can land and be amazing. I like remakes, but not at full price. Right, like, is that going to be a continued sticking point? Are people going to be like, man, remakes are dope, and these remakes are very successful, but come on, man, these prices are kind of out of left field. You know, they're kind of out of pocket here. You can't be charging a full price for a remake. Remakes are coming, and people love them, like Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, give me Metal Gear Solid remake, Silent Hill 2 remake. I'm skeptical of the Metal Gear Solid remake without Kojima's involvement, says Brian. Yep. Yeah, I could totally see that. I'm gonna end the stream over here on the talk. We've kind of died anyway. If you guys want to see the next show, which is me hanging out with some people talking about Xbox or the Dead Space remake gameplay, you're gonna have to head to Reforge Gaming on YouTube. I'm just ending the mobile stream. Shutting that down. I'm gonna continue hanging out with you guys here though. We continue to do pretty well over there, but kind of fell off a little bit. New followers. Man, oh man, I recognize this person. Keep doing these filters. Yep. I knew I recognized them. Okay. Oh, by the way, starting right now, if you guys use my code over at Gamer Advantage, there is free shipping right now. There is free shipping. So feel free, if you've been kind of holding off, use code Lono over there. I'm wearing augments today. One of the awesome features of the glasses is, especially because I wear prescription, is these flexible just like the glasses, very light, really, really nice feature so that I don't have to carry around sunglasses with me. So if you've been wanting to get some blue light blocking glasses, we are partnered with Gamer Advantage. Use code Lono over there. A $2 tip from Mick D09. Are folks paying $70 for a Final Fantasy VII level remake? Yeah, that's the question. I was disappointed in Callisto Protocol, and even more disappointed that I chose that over the Dead Space remake to purchase. I hope not, says Detective Seeds. I enjoy the nostalgic for a bit, but I'm looking for new IPs to sink my teeth into. And Resident Recon says, I agree. I'm sure all 7 people over there are very upset. Yeah, we dropped quite a bit over there today. Usually we're in like the 20s to 50 range, but we fell pretty far today. It's probably because we just got off subject, and they couldn't see what I was doing with the game open. And the minute they can't see what I'm doing, they're going to bounce. Yo, what's good? And now your mama knows. Kojima doesn't have to be involved if it's Blue Point, right? The Demon Souls remake was awesome, and I don't think Miyazaki was involved with that. That's true. That's true. Why is it frowned upon to say it? Well, there's a lot of people out there there's a lot of people out there that do not... I lost my train of thought. Oh, there's a lot of people out there that use YouTube to promote their other streams. You know what I mean? They'll be like, hey, watch me over here. Watch me over here. YouTube doesn't like that. I'm good now. What? I'll just have to eat lunch late. I'll have to eat lunch when I'm playing the game. Now would be a good time, actually. Yeah, my brother's gonna come down. We're gonna get the scene set for the next show. T-Loot players great still, but I don't think that is the case with the original Dead Space players. Oh, with the original Dead Space. Oh, you're saying the original T-Loot still plays great, but the original Dead Space doesn't? No time like the present. Right. No time to lose. Wait, what are you doing? Are you gonna help us hit this? Are we hitting the goal, guys? Are we hitting the member goal? Let's see it. We got 6 members already. Very well could be on the level of the RE1 remake. I didn't believe it. I'm confused, says Tommy. All Blue Point needs to do is make the graphics better and leave the gameplay intact, as they did with the Demon Souls. The original Dead Space still plays amazing, says Black Brad Pitt. Like Musk with his this and that, but yeah, we're not talking about that. You guys are still talking about the whole that thing that guy came in the other chat and said. I spent about 20 minutes in it. Jaggies everywhere. Camera acceleration's wonky. Screen shake is egregious. Would you replay it on? Is your brother in the army? No, he lives in South Korea and teaches English, and so he's stateside for 2-ish weeks because of the Korean New Year. It's like a vacay. Who told you this? I'll be playing with my emotions, man. Kind of screwed up Demon Souls. People who played the original understand. Hey, Rockin' Robin says, I'll poke it. I'll poke the number. There it is. Bumping us by 1, taking us to 7. OG Kush family got that gifted member. Thank you so much, Rockin' Robin, for doing that. Appreciate it very, very much. If we hit 25, I gift 5. So that's a good reason to stick around, because that's a great way to get a gifted membership, especially if you're wanting to hang out with my brother and I tonight. We're going to be playing some GoldenEye and a bunch of other games. We're not just going to play GoldenEye. I think the GoldenEye thing it'll get rough after probably about 30 minutes. It is literally the original game. I booted it up last night. Like, it's 4x3. As far as I can tell, they didn't really do anything. Keep film grain and motion blur on. It's true to the OG. I will not be doing that. I knew somebody was an English major in your family with all them big words. Got me stumbling. He's not an English major. He's not. I don't know what his major was. We'll have to ask him when he gets down here. I can't remember what he majored in. I have a bachelor's and a master's, but not in anything linguistically based. I just read a lot and watch a lot of really smart people, so I don't think we have any English majors in our family. Demon Souls Remake looks amazing. It feels like a 10-year-old game. I won't disagree with Tommy on that. I think the movement and the clunkiness of Demon Souls is faithful to the original. Not in anything useful. That's right. Lono fakes it. Didn't you have to take Greek and Hebrew? That counts. Oh yeah, I did. A year of Koine Greek and a year of Hebrew. Yeah. Greek was very easy for me. I picked it up like it was nothing. Hebrew was, I got straight A's and had no idea what I was doing. I got straight A's. I had no idea what I was doing. It was like math. If you could remember the equations, you could get good grades, but I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. GoldenEye, unless they patched it, made me super nauseous trying to play it last night. Hey, Smiley! I love when I see different names gifting members, taking us to 12. That's the halfway point on the member goal. Thank you for gifting 5 members. JG from Space, Black Brad Pitt's been here all morning hanging out and debating and discussing. Cujo, Peepo, and Curtis, you guys all got gifted members. Thank you for doing that, Smiley. If you just got gifted a membership, make sure and say thank you to Smiley. You can pay it forward, maybe gift some of your own. Resident Recon with a month membership says, rather than Dead Space Remake, Motive should have done what BioWare did with the Mass Effect Legendary Edition and remaster all the games. I don't know about that. I mean, that's a tall order. Rather than remake one game, they should have remade them all. Like, I don't know about that. Plus, Dead Space 3 is not far enough away. I don't know how much would they have been able to do to it. You know what I mean? Yo, what's good, 809 Lion? As a general rule, jargon creates an illusion of complexity, and I say that as someone who speaks a lot of jargon. Jargon is just a shortcut. You can say a lot with a few words, but it's no more difficult to understand than anything else. Yes. Yeah. That's what Plato tried to do when he believed that it was kind of the same idea when he had a guy study he had a guy explain what a rectangle was who wasn't educated, and he was like, yeah, see, we all understand these things from the forms or whatever. It's kind of like that, right? Like, you can understand you can have understanding with minimal education. I don't think it backs his thesis though, but the idea that you can have understanding even if you're less educated. You don't have to necessarily know all the words. You can still have, I think, clarity. I normally don't have an issue, but GoldenEye got me last night. After 30 minutes, the feeling went away after stopping. Hey, one gifted member from Silent Warrior, and Craig coming in with 5. That's going to be 6. That's going to take us to 18. 18 gifted members. One goes to Mark, then Christina, then Emmanuel Lopez, then Sean, then Wim, then Sniggity Sags. You guys all got gifted members. We're right on the doorstep of the daily member goal. Thank you guys for doing that. Welcome on in. Sean and Christina are here all the time. Congrats on getting those memberships. Wim Nator. Wait, Wim. Oh, I didn't call out Wim. Wim Nator got one. The Last of Us Part 1 sales grew 305% week on week and is at the number 11 on the starts. Last of Us Remastered is up 337. Because of the show? Ready when you are? Okay, so Mike's ready. When I say negligence, Eugene, he hears something the rest of you don't. You can all understand the idea of having duty to someone, failing in that duty and causing injury. Right. Jargon is great for shortcuts and whatnot. Should never be used as a gatekeeping mechanism. Yeah. I don't think I've ever tried to do that. Lono, do you have any suggestions for coffee with balanced acidity? Why, yes, I do, you knucklehead. Reforge Roast. If you're a coffee drinker and you've never tried coffee with balanced acidity, you should try ours. That's good. That was well done, Hellish Smoker. Yeah. The show gave it a huge boost, for sure. All right, give me just a second. I'm going to have to get my my brother in frame, and I think we're going to try and use the other camera. I've never done that. Hey, Zubair! Zubair says, I'll do it. I'll get some. That takes us to 23. Look at his good-looking mug in chat when he gifts. Look how much bigger his picture is. I hope he's okay with that. Thavi Srang, Darren, Jack Attack, Brady, and my man Pete the Greek all getting a gifted membership. Welcome on in. Putting us on the doorstep of the 25 goal where I have to gift 5. Yeah, let me get my brother in here. Okay. I don't know. I don't know how we're going to do this. Yeah, I don't know how we're going to have use both cameras. One camera's got to be him. One camera's got to be me. Well, at least that's what I was going to do. Oh, you did a big one while I was gone. Oh, golly. We got a bunch while I was gone. Holy moly. We got one from Talica, 2 from Talica, 1 from Ulut. That's 3. And then 10 from Risic. That takes us to 36. That is so nuts. That is so kind. Thank you guys for gifting all those members, man. That is the best. Here, let me gift my 5 that I now owe. Bam. And there comes mine. All right. Hang on. Arcade. All right, so that one will be me. And we'll use this other one for him. Don't slam the door. Or act surprised. Like, what are you doing in here?
I told you to give me advance warning before you.
I told you. I told you.
I told you.
All right. Yeah, we're live right now. Yeah, you can't swear. I was saving this for tonight, but the whole "I told you" makes me think of this time. I'm not kidding you. This happened. I was in a public restroom, and there was a guy in the stall, and he was having a hard time. And as like an explosive sound came out of him, I'm not kidding you. He said, "I deserve this." He said, "I deserve this."
Who was he talking to?
He was
To himself?
probably talking.
I deserve this.
He was talking to himself.
I've been a bad boy. Do I talk on the top or the side on this one?
I deserve this. That's where you want to be
I'm
talking.
talking on the side.
I deserve this.
My own fault. Hello, everyone. It's my own fault. Oh, I deserve this. My just desserts. I knew what would happen and I did it anyway.
I did it.
I knew there would be hell to pay.
It's like what did he do? Is he like lactose intolerant, you know? And he's like, you know, just crapping himself.
I'm a glutton for punishment.
Oh man, that's funny. All right, you'll need those purple headphones.
White Chai's in the chat. Zubair's in the chat.
Yeah.
What else do I see that I know? There's Lono. Hi. Hello.
Okay, let's do this. Oh shoot.
Oh.
Log out. I have to log in on my other account. I use a separate account when I do my episodes with Andrew because it's like I have to screen share. Okay.
I mean, when's the last time you thought to yourself, I deserve this? We all have to have experienced this feeling.
Well, like, if I do something stupid... Oh, hang on. I gotta go with streamer mode in here. I always forget to do that.
This t-shirt was made by the Minions.
What's going on?
Yo. What's good, Mike?
Look, I don't appreciate you
I'm the oldest.
telling the story of me in the stall when I deserved it.
I deserve this. I made all those YouTube videos talking about video games, and I'm getting what I deserve.
I deserve this. When you just said that story, I started crying, man. I started laughing my ass off.
I don't know how I didn't laugh. I was like shaking, trying to go to the bathroom. I'm like standing at the urinal. I'm like shaking, laughing. I deserve this.
I went on Reforged too many times.
Yeah, who was he talking to? Like who was he talking to in the stall? Like
just himself, I guess.
He was praying. He was praying.
He was praying.
Dear God, I deserve this.
You're so loud. I have to turn this down.
I was worried about being too quiet last time.
You're blowing me out. I don't know if you're blowing out chat. You're blowing me out.
I don't want to be all low mumbly. Like
you're fine.
time.
You're fine. No, that's the wrong 3x. Hang on. Brono 3 wide. There we go.
My volume was blowing people out?
No, not you, Mike.
Oh, okay.
You're good. Okay.
Should I sit where I'm going to sit, or should I keep moving around?
You should be totally fine.
You should try to make it as difficult as possible.
To sit as far back as possible. Visibly 10 feet behind you.
Like, you just like keep hitting me in the middle of the episode.
Hey.
Like, bro, stop.
Hey.
Stop. Okay. Yeah, your arms will be in every once in a while. That's fine. Okay. All right. And then we can get Mike to be like that. And then Brono. This actually looks really professional for how I just slapped it together. Okay. Now,
It's the YouTube way. Just slap stuff together.
so we're talking Xbox in 2023. You got to go the other way with your hand.
Should we touch fingers?
It's not gonna work.
You like this,
Here,
Mike?
I'll do it. I'll do it. There you go. I don't know. Is this working?
No.
You want me to
There
do
you
that?
go.
There it is. There it
There
is.
you go.
That's,
We're
that's
getting
almost
close.
it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
almost it.
Yeah.
Here we go.
We got to start the episode that way.
It works.
Lono should be in the middle. No. Okay.
You should be in the middle, and yours should be like 50% bigger. We should be like little satellite
Yeah,
faces.
it's just the
You
eye.
should be like-
This is eye.
Welcome to another episode.
This is my show.
Okay, did I set up a redirect? Okay, I did. All right, let me. So we're talking. You probably didn't get to see this, Derek, about the showcase, like what they showed. Xbox.
Wasn't it in like the last? While I was traveling, like in the last day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's fine. It's
I'm
fine.
behind. My news is behind.
We're gonna be talking about Xbox in 2023. Was it a strong start?
Well, I bet you the answer is no.
Don't worry, Derek. It's not going to make or break the show if you didn't watch the direct.
You know, I'm not psychic, but I'm betting the answer is no.
Well, we'll see. End of the show. That's it. Nope. Shut it down. All right, let me hit that. All right.
Spoiler alert, the answer is no.
We haven't even started the episode yet. You just ruined it. You've ruined it.
You have embarrassed our entire family.
You've embarrassed our entire family. You
My
have.
entire family is embarrassed.
I deserve this.
My entire family deserves.
Our family lineage deserves this. I like when it happened. I was like, I have to tell it to my brothers. They will cry.
This is recently then.
It just happened recently. We were at dinner and I like went and used the restroom. This guy, he's having a hard night, you know. I was like, Brant. He's like, I deserve this. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right, live. Let me do this. I'm sending out the tweet.
He didn't come out of the stall when you were washing your hands, did he? Because that would be awkward as well after.
No, he didn't. I that was one of those things where like I had to get out of there. Like I wouldn't be able to look him in the face. I had to leave post haste. Okay. I'll send that.
Like in the sink, you're washing your hands. He opens the stall. You like look in the mirror, through the mirror back to him. Make that awkward eye contact. That would have been awkward.
Just walk up, look through the crack, and be like, "It'll be okay, bro."
Your little eye like shows through.
It'll be all right.
I heard what you said.
Okay. We and I deserve this command. That's right. All right, let me get this stream. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a redirect. You guys can head over on your own, and please do your absolute best to go crazy with the likes. It just doesn't work to be like, hey, can you like the stream? Like when we're doing a talk show with multiple people. By the way, we want to include you in the chat. We want to include you in the conversation. So make sure. And thank you, Christy Axis, for ordering a Frickmas and a Dark Roast. Thank you so much. So have chat engagement, debate us, discuss it. We're talking about how is the Xbox in 2023 year shaping up? What's it going to look like? We'll obviously get into Starfield, and there's no release date for Forza yet, so should be good. Should be good. Okay. Oh, and Mike can see both of us. Okay, good. That was the only thing I hadn't checked. Okay.
This?
Yeah. So there we go. Use the link in chat if you prefer not to ride the redirect. I'm going to sit for like a half, 5 seconds of silence, and then I'm going to start the next stream. I don't know where to look. Oh, I need to look there now. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. This is going to be another weekly segment where I take a topic and discuss it with my man 30 and Still Gaming, but Brono is in town. My brother is in town. He's going to join us for the discussion. Xbox in 2023, have they had a strong start, or is it all talk? And we're going to be bringing people over from the member stream as well. We'll do a redirect, so make sure as you guys come over, you're smashing the like button, and make sure you're checking out 30 and Still Gaming at his channel, 30NSG. It's right there beneath him if you want to catch his content. Thanks for being here, guys. We appreciate it so much. Say hello to everybody.
What's going on? Thanks for having me.
Good morning, good afternoon. Hello.
That's right.
And good evening.
That's right. You forgot the good evening.
No, I left it out on purpose.
Mike.